This video is brought to you by simplyseattle.com. It's the only place to find the world's largest selection of Supersonics gear. They have everything you could imagine to celebrate the Sonics. Autographed pieces for the Rayman and Gary Payton to boot. Shipping all over the world, so let's keep the Sonics dream alive at simplyseattle.com. Click the link in the description box and get 10% off. Check it out now.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Shawn, Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Shawn David.
Hello, good day to you all. How's it going? I'm Shawn David. Welcome back to the show. Let's talk some old school NBA. In today's episode, we got a true NBA legend, the Glove. Welcome, Gary Payton.
How you doing? How you been?
Good, sir. Now, as I already told you, we're going to talk about your career. But before we get to that, I have one question that I had for so many years, and I wanted to make sure that this is going to be my first question. Now, since you are in the all-time or in the Hall of Fame of trash, I mean, you're in the Hall of Fame in general, but you're also in the legendary Trash Talking Hall of Fame. I was always wondering, did you ever trash talk Larry Bird?
You know what? I never got a chance to trash talk Larry Bird. I was kind of scared to trash talk Larry Bird because he was pretty good. You know, it was I only got to play against him only 2 times because he was at his end of his career and he was hurt. But he was one of the best. I always mention him as being one of the greatest trash talkers because people just they underestimate him. I think he was one of the best top 5 basketball players ever play in the game. And it would have been great if I could have played against him for a couple of years and learned some trash talking stuff from him. But he was really good at it.
All right. Now, when you were a kid, I was always wondering who were the players that you were looking up to before you entered the NBA? Like in your college days, your high school days, who were the guys that were your idols?
There was only one guy who was my idol, really, really tough, and that was George Gervin. George Gervin was my man. You remember the poster where he sat on the ice?
Yeah, classic.
On and had ice on there, Iceman on it. And, you know, to this day, he's like a father figure to me. And I was really happy when I got in the NBA and I got a chance to meet him because that was who I idolized. I had him on my walls as a kid, growing up, college, everything. And then I got a chance to meet him. And then everybody know I asked him to induct me, him and John Stockton, to induct me into the Hall of Fame. So that was one of the greatest moments of my life to meet him and now be a part of it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you never got to play against him. I think he retired in 86 or 85, something like that.
Yeah, he retired when I was going to college.
Yeah.
And I missed him. I missed him by about 4 years. So,
yeah.
But it was a great thing, though. As soon as I got in there and he started watching me and I started telling the stories to everybody about how I idolized him. He gave me a call out and gave me a shout, and that was just amazing to me. And, I was really, really shocked for that. So, that was really good.
Now, you were the second pick of the 1990 NBA draft, and you were, unfortunately not the first pick. In all honesty, were you disappointed that you weren't the first, or were you happy to be the second pick?
I was very happy to be the second. I wasn't caring about the number 1 pick. At that time, New Jersey Nets had to pick. I didn't want to go to New Jersey. Seattle had been pursuing me for many of years, and they were and Bernie Bickerstaff was the head man there and all that. And I really was really into Bernie Bickerstaff. And when they lucked up and got the pick, got the lucky ball to get the number 2 pick, I was really happy that I was going there. I basically told New Jersey I wasn't coming. They went and picked Derek Coleman, and that was really great for me.
Now, what do you recall from the day of the draft? Take me to your thought process and your emotions when you finally got picked.
Well,
was it relief?
It was kind of different, because you knew where you were going. All I wanted to do was get it over with and make it for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody kept saying, you don't know what's going to happen. They might change their mind, whatever. But they had already told me they were going to pick me. And I just wanted to get it over with. because I just wanted to be the next step in my life. And once you hear your name, as David Stern called my name, it was a big relief, sigh, and I knew that it was a different chapter coming in my life.
Yeah. Then you land on the Seattle Supersonics team, and you're the second youngest player on the team. The only one guy that is younger than you is Shawn Kemp. Did you guys click right away, or did it take some time?
We clicked right away. As soon as I got in there, I walked up to Shawn and I told Shawn we're the two youngsters that they drafted back-to-back years. He was in '89, I was in '90. They was investing in us, and I told him, me and him has to get on the same page and do the things. It took us 2 years to get to where we wanted to get to and the style of basketball that we wanted to play. So that was a thing that we just had to work at. And once we got George Karl, our coach, that became our centerpiece to become who we were, the Rain Man and the Glove.
Now, you played, to me at least, in the golden age of point guards. In your rookie season, you're playing against guys like Isaiah Thomas. You're playing against Magic Johnson, John Stockton, those guys. From a competitive standpoint, were you more looking forward to play against those guys to see if you could compete against those guys? Were you a little, I don't want to say afraid, but having too much respect? What was your mentality like going against those greats, which were already considered to be some of the greatest players of all time?
Well, you watch them on TV as you grow up as a little kid. And once you get to their level, you cannot show them that you're scared and you want respect to them, because they'll kill you. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to go up in there and just show them that I belong. They already knew that I was the number 2 pick. I was the person who the franchise thought it was going to change because of me if they make this pick. So they were going at me. But the good thing about that is I caught Isaiah in the late part of his career, which I hate. I wanted to play him in his prime time to make me better. John Stockton, I got to play against him a lot, like about 10 years.
A lot, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Magic, I didn't get to play against him but once or twice too, and Bird. So it was a disappointment that I didn't get to play against him, but it's a great achievement that I played against him just for 1 to 2 times to say that I was in their era, and that was a good thing for me.
Now, I just mentioned John Stockton. I just remembered something. I don't even have that question on my list, but I have to ask you. You once said the legendary sentence that John Stockton was the hardest player you ever had to guard, and I was shocked. And I'm probably one of the biggest John Stockton fans on the planet, and I definitely can understand where you're coming from. But was he really the toughest player you ever had to guard? Like, in all honesty, and I know you love John Stockton, if you push that aside, was he really the best you ever played against?
The best. And wow. I'm going to keep saying that because the simple fact is that people don't get it. When you got to guard a guy 94 feet and he's throwing bounce passes, he's making picks, he shoots the ball 10 times, he makes it 8. Then all of a sudden he shoots 7 free throws, he makes 6 or 7. Then all of a sudden he's got 16 rebounds. All of a sudden he's got 16 assists. And then all of a sudden you look around, he has 4 and 5 steals. You look up on the board and he only playing 34 minutes and I'm playing 44, and he has 27, 16, 6, and 4. What kind of stats do you want to do that? If I got any other guy, any other player, I can disrupt him a little bit, and he have a bad shooting night, and he goes 5 for 30 or something like that, and only have 20 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds. I would always want to play that player because I have a chance of beating them all the time. But with John Stockton, with them numbers, and you're getting beat by 30. That's no chance that you can have. And you got Karl Malone right there doing the same thing, and Hornacek and all of them guys. You don't have a chance. And I think that was my biggest thing. And I had to be on my P's and Q's with him all during the game. No let up. I couldn't put my guard down one time because he's always going to come and attack me.
Thanks for the explanation. I definitely understand where you're coming from. It's I mean, it's obvious that you have a lot of respect for John Stockton, which he definitely deserves. Now, after 3 years, you finally made the All-Star team, and I was wondering, from a rookie to an NBA All-Star, a lot of time passes. Obviously, you worked on your game, and I wanted to know, what was the one thing that you feel you worked on the most to get better?
I think I worked on my offense the most. That was what I worked on really the most, because being at 6'4" and one of the biggest guards in there, my coach, Tim Gergerich at the time, had taught me the art of posting guards up. Yes. And making things happen like a Shaquille O'Neal, like a Elijah Wan, like a Patrick Ewing. If I can do that as a small guard and make people double me and create problems when we didn't really have a center like that on Seattle. Our center was Sam Perkins, who was shooting. A stretch big. Yeah. He was stretch big, who shoot jump shots and shoot threes. So that was what we needed, and that's what I developed, and that's what I went and worked at. Because I knew that if I play my defense the way I can get easy buckets, and then I can come on the other offensive side and then post somebody up and be productive that way. I thought that would be great. So my offense game on the post up in different ways that I could score was my biggest thing when I went to work out in the offseason.
Oh, man, back in the days when guards could actually post up. Oh, good times, man. Now, you and Shawn Kemp, you were the original Lob City. And I once read in an interview, and I wanted to know if that's true, that you threw the balls as high as possible on purpose to see if he could catch them. You really did that?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, you're crazy, man.
That's what he used to tell me. He used to say, I could go get anything. And one time we were in Sacramento, and I threw the ball to the corner of the backboard, and he went and got it. I was so amazed during that time that I know that I could throw anything to him. He would time it and go get it. And he had incredible athletic ability and great jumping ability. And that's why, me and him are like brothers now. We're still brothers because we had that click, and we learned when we went off the court with it. We hung out with each other. So we knew what was going on. So I challenged him. He challenged me. And we just made each other better.
I had George Karl on the show not too long ago. I actually forgot to ask him a very important question. I'm a basketball coach too, right? And I was always wondering, like, you and Shawn, no matter how important the game, how crucial the game, how many seconds left, you guys would throw a lob and you wouldn't give up. And if I would have been your coach, I would have gotten a heart attack. I would always say, play it safe, and you guys play like you were playing for the top 10, and it always worked. But you guys were something else. You guys were crazy, literally crazy, man.
Well, thank you. That's how we lived. We lived on the edge, and that's what I wanted to do, and Shawn wanted to do. But we just knew that George Karl gave us enough
trust,
responsibility, and trust to really just say, yes, you can go get it done. When we didn't get it done, one or two times we probably messed up and missed it, or Shawn tried to dunk it too hard. He got mad and he'll bench us, and then we'll come right back. And then when I was about to check in, I'll tell him, I'm going to do it again. So don't even try it. So that was the main thing right there of what we were really doing.
The nickname, the glove. Do you remember who gave that name to you?
Yes, I do. It was my cousin during the 1993 Western Conference Final, 93-94 in Western Conference Finals. I was guarding Kevin Johnson, who was the premier point guard at that time in the NBA. He was averaging like 27 during the regular season. Came to the playoffs and got into the championship with us, and I held him to like 14, 16 points. My cousin called me on the phone talking about glove. I hung up the phone. I was like, you got the wrong number. And then all of a sudden, when I hung up the phone, he called back, and he was saying like, cuz it's me. I said, why are you calling me the glove? He was like, because you got Kevin Johnson like a baseball in the mitt, wrapped up so tight. You know what I'm saying? So it just stuck from there. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty good. And it stuck from there. And all of a sudden, we took off with it. The NBA took off with it. And it's a legendary thing.
Nice, man. Now, I consider you to be the best defender as a point guard of all time. No question.
Thank you.
Yeah, well deserved. Who did you enjoy the most to guard? Like who was your favorite player to guard? And I'm not. No. I don't accept that answer. I don't accept that answer.
Because everybody who I guarded was a challenge, and it was a disadvantage to me because I was already overtaking people. People would want me to say Michael Jordan. Okay, that was great too. But I know that I can get at Michael Jordan because the simple fact is he's a competitor and he's going to come back at me. And I knew that I can go back at him. I could say Mitch Richmond. Mitch Richmond was probably one of the hardest big guards to guard because he could shoot the basketball.
Strong.
He could post up. He was strong. He did a lot of things. So everybody to me was a challenge. So I like to be challenged. You know, I like to go against Tim Hardaway with the crossover, the killer crossover. I loved all that. I love Rod Strickland. I love to guard all these guys because if I can go at them back, I can do it. Kevin Johnson was that guard, you know. So I used to try to go at everybody, you know. We had Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson was a post-up guy like me.
Yeah, exactly.
He tried to post me up, and I always tried to be the one who stopped him. During my era, we had a top point guard in every team. It was every team.
Very true.
I used to have to go to everybody's arena and guard their point guard. So it wasn't somebody who I loved to go guard. It was somebody I wanted to guard because I was trying to get in that number one point guard slot where everybody would have to say, I'm going to put Gary Payton on our board. If they coach put it on the board, what point guard you going to stop? Is you going to stop him tonight? And then they got to worry about me. So I was happy to guard everybody.
All right. Now, in 1996, you guys have an incredible roster. It's not only you. You already mentioned Sam Perkins, Detlef Schrempf, Hersey Hawkins, Shawn Kemp, and the list goes on. You were loaded. And you had, defensively, I think that was the best defensive team Seattle Supersonics ever had. You had David Wingate, Nate McMillan. You guys were very deep. And you make it to the finals. And you play against the Chicago Bulls. Now, so many years later, how do you feel about that series?
Well, people got to understand that I don't go back into the past. We didn't play. We didn't beat them. They won. It is what it is. I think that if we would have played a little different, instead of trying not to lose but to win, we could have beat them. I think George Karl would say the same thing. He didn't start me on Jordan at the beginning of the series because I was hurt. I had a calves muscle pull, and it backfired on us. I don't know if I would have guarded him from game one, how different it would have been, because they had a great basketball team. But we can't go back and say if we did it. I had fun playing that game, playing that series. We lost 4-2. We have to think about it. If something would have been different, would it have been different? If this would have happened and that happened. So I really don't go back to that. I just say I wish we could have got another opportunity to play them instead of us breaking up our team. They won 3 after that because they played Utah the next 2 years after us and beat them both times. I wish that we would have kept our team together and been a little bit more togetherness, but we didn't. And it happened, and they won 3 championships in a row again.
When I had George on the show, he also said he believed that if Nate McMillan was healthy too, it would have changed a lot. Okay, now I'm coming to a hope not too sensitive topic, but I have to bring it up. Obviously, you saw the Last Dance documentary, and obviously you got asked the question a couple of times, but I want to approach it a little bit different. I consider myself the biggest Jordan fan on the planet, okay? But I always feel credit where credit is due. When I saw the Last Dance documentary, I was very happy to see so many things, brought back many memories. And when Jordan was asked about you, and he didn't, I believe him that a lot was on his mind. But I felt like, even I as a Jordan fan, I felt like, come on, give Gary the credit, because I saw the games a lot of times, and sorry, but Jordan didn't struggle, but Jordan had to work for every single bucket. And I felt like, okay, you could have at least give him the credit. He did a sensational job. It's not like too many guys guard you that way. In all honesty, how did you feel when you heard that? And are you mad at Michael now? And when did you last see him?
Well, I seen him at Kobe's funeral, which was not on a good note, and we really didn't talk like that. But I'm not mad at Michael Jordan about anything. That's his documentary. His documentary is about making him look good and making everybody see the light of him. I laughed too when he laughed, because he knows the real about the situation. But I'm not going to go back and do it. If we look at the numbers don't lie. So numbers don't lie. So it is what it is. They won the championship. So be it. Everybody consider him the best basketball player to play on the planet. I don't really care about what Michael Jordan says about that. That's him. I wouldn't expect nothing less from him to say. You know what I'm saying? He's a competitor. He knows that everybody considered me the best defensive player. I had just won the Defensive Player of the Year, all of that. He was the Offensive Player of the Year. He was the MVP. So it was the best defensive player against the best offensive player. All my job was to slow him down. I knew I couldn't stop him. And I did a great job of slowing him down and giving him the opportunity to get back into the series and win 2 big games. And so I don't really care about that. That's just something that happened.
But you know the truth, right?
Yeah, I know the truth.
You know what you did.
And how did I did it, and how did I work, and how hard I made him work. So I'm not really worried about that. And like I said, I don't expect nothing less from Michael Jordan. He's a competitor.
Now, since we're talking about the Last Dance documentary, when are we going to see the Supersonics documentary featuring Shawn, Kemp, and Gary Payton? That would be nice.
That would be nice. I mean, nobody caught him at us or approached us. And, when that comes, first we want to get the Seattle team back in Seattle. That's what we want to do first.
Yes.
And then we can talk about let's do a documentary on us and show how for them 7 years that we were together, we won over 50 games, almost 5-6 seasons in a row. You know what I'm saying? So people got to understand that too, and how our locker rooms were, how our practices were, and things like that. If it comes, I'll have much fun with it. I know Shawn will. Even Nate McMillan would have great fun. Hershey Hawkins, Detlef Shrimp. All of us will have fun talking about this and how we had ups and downs and controversies too.
You forgot the funniest guy that you had on the roster.
Who was that?
Scheffler.
Steve Scheffler.
I had him on the show, man. He had some stories, man. Holy moly, man. He had some funny stories about what you guys did. But he can't miss on the documentary. Now, in the mid-'90s, there was a change in I want to say there was a new generation of point guards coming up. I'm talking about Jason Kidd, who you obviously knew from your childhood days, or not childhood, his childhood days. Who else did we? Allen Iverson, later shooting guard, but Jason Williams, and it changed a little bit. What was it like for you as a competitor, knowing that the young guns ones are coming, and you still want to, you still want to be on the throne, and you don't want them to take your spot as the number one point guard.
And that was my whole thing too. Every time I played one of them, I had to let them understand who I was. I went in there and went at their throat. You know, a lot of them didn't back down, and I like that. Even Chris Paul came in during the time. I tried to go at him when he was at New Orleans, and he had Byron Scott as his coach, and Byron said he's a real one. He's going to go back at you. I like stuff like that.
Nice.
Because I want them to understand. They had been in college looking at me, and they knew what was going on. So they were coming in there with a little jitteries to themselves, but I couldn't give them no respect. No respect to give them any kind of advantage over me. So what I did was I went at their throat. I went at their throat hard. And that just made them all better. That's all it did. It just makes them all better. And, you know, and look at how all of them are turning out. Jay, Hall of Fame. Allen, Hall of Fame. Chris Paul, about to be a Hall of Famer. So, you know, it's going to be, it was great that I could play against players like that and then teach them a lesson, and then they come back and do the same thing to younger players in years to come.
Now, since I mentioned Jason Williams, I'm sorry that I have to bring it up, but I noticed something very, very nice. The famous situation where he's crossing you up and I don't even know if you did it on purpose, but you had your leg a little bit wide to the side.
Kicked it out. Kicked it out.
But after that scene, you gave him props, and you had an expression of joy in your face, like, damn, what did the white boy do just now? And I like that. I like that because that showed me that you are able to give credit where credit is due. Like you were, as a competitor, of course you didn't like the situation, but as a man, you can accept if somebody did something well, and I like that about you.
Well, like I said, if anybody's gonna be, they're gonna do something. I'm not a hater about anything. We all play basketball, and we all good, and we're there for a reason. I had heard about Jay Will's handles and how good he was with the basketball. And when he tricked me and fooled me that time, I just had to smile, you know, man, because he showed me what he can do, you know, and I'm close with him as of today. And, you know, and it just made me be more of a competitor because I went right back out and went right back at him, and he came back at me. I don't want him to be scared. I want him to do everything he can, be sensational. And then all of a sudden he got the name White Chocolate. So, hey, more power to you. I want to see you succeed. I'm not a hater. I don't care. I know I'm good. I know you're good. Let's be good together. You know what I'm saying? And he did a move on me, and I had to give him his props.
Nice, man. Now, after a short stint with the Milwaukee Bucks, you played for the Los Angeles Lakers in a season that didn't turn out the way, obviously not the way you guys were hoping. Still, I wanted to ask you, what is, or name me one positive thing that you take from that season?
Becoming the Kobe Bryant's big brother. That's a positive thing. He was going through a lot during that year.
Yes.
He was going through really a lot. Shaquille O'Neal was going through a lot. That's my brother. That's the reason I came to the Lakers from day one. Because
he recruited you?
Yeah, he recruited me.
Okay.
Me and him are very tight, and our kids are like brothers and sisters. So then that's when that's why I went to Miami after that because of Shaquille.
Ah, all right.
And, so being that, people say we didn't succeed at what we did. They put the team together to go to the championship. They didn't say win the championship. They say we have a good possibility to win the championship. We went to the championship, and we had so much turmoil in our camp during that year. Karl Malone only played 20 games. Kobe only played about 30-something games. Mm-hmm. Shaquille O'Neal only played about 30 to 40 games too. Both of them played about the same amount of time. And then we took some kids that were rookies, that were bench players, with myself. And we went and got into the playoffs on our own
True. Very true. Very true. Very
And
true.
all of a sudden, we get into the playoffs and get some of our key players back, and we beat the #1 team in the NBA at that year in the San Antonio Spurs. We beat them in the Western Conference Finals. And people say it's a lost year. No, it wasn't. I think the year was great. I think we didn't complete it by winning the championship, but we got to the championship and got beat by the Detroit Pistons, who were a good team.
Great team.
It was a good team, and they were on fire at the time. We just couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
So I think it was great, what we did. I just wish we could have kept that together, too, for another year and see what we could have did with a healthy team. Because when all four of us was healthy, we were 18-2.
Yeah.
And they were talking about us beating the
Bulls record.
Chicago Bulls record.
Yeah, true.
And that's what it was, So I'm really not disappointed in a year. I just think that if we wouldn't have had a lot of controversy, we'd have been okay.
And you won your championship with the Miami Heat not too long after. Fortunately.
Yeah.
Now I have some rapid fire questions. So if you could answer the questions with one word, I would be very happy.
Okay.
The one player you wish you would have dunked on.
Larry Bird.
Really? Okay. The best in-game dunker of all time.
Dominique Wilkins.
Oh, all right. Your favorite teammate of all time.
Shawn Kemp.
The one team you wish you could have played for.
Nobody but the Seattle Supersonics.
Perfect answer. Oh, man, nice. Gary, it was great to have you on the show.